Hey, I'm Max and welcome to this Infinite Game tutorial. In this tutorial I will teach you how to make a game like this, which is sort of like a Flappy Bird if you've ever played it. The goal is to go between the street lights and pick up various powers, like the power up here that gives me twice the amount of score, this one right here that gives me an additional life, so if I hit something I can go back a little bit, and this power up right here that gives me a shield, so if I hit something it breaks it instead of killing me. When I finally lose, I can see my score, my IS score and my total score, and it gets saved to my computer or mobile phone. In this part of the tutorial, we'll add the scoring system and give a movement illusion. First up, for the score, I'll go into my game and create a private int score like this. And I will add a public void add score int amount. In here I will do score plus equal amount. And I also want to have a text on screen showing the score that we are currently at. So I will add using UnityEngine.ui. I will then create a public text score text. And in the add score I will do score text.text equals to score.toString. Now in my player script I'll do void on trigger enter 2D. And then I need an instance of the game object, so I'll do private game, then I'll do game equals to, but I cannot do get component because the game script is not on my player component or game object, so I need to do find object of type game, and since there's only one, that should work. And I'll do pretty much the same thing if collision.gameObject.tag, so we'll use the same tag, so I'll do obstacle, and then if it is an obstacle trigger, we just simply want to do game.addScore 1. So now what I need to do is go on my canvas, add a UI text, and actually before I put too many things on the canvas, I'll make sure to set the canvas scaler mode to scale with screen size to make sure if someone uses a different resolution or size it's going to work. And I'll set the resolution reference to 1920 by 1080. And then I just need to redo my text, so I'll put it at the top left and right like this. And I'll set it to centered like this and this. Then I'll do best fit and I will remove everything inside and set the color to yellow. Now I need to go on my obstacle, open the prefab, and then I will add on my obstacle game object a box collider 2D, and I will simply set it in the gap between the two. Like this probably. Yep. And actually I'll set it a little bit more to the other side because if we hit this side right here I don't want to get a score. So let's do something like this. That's probably good. Then I will set isTrigger on the box collider, and the tag obstacle is already on it, so I can exit that. Don't forget to set your score text into your game script like this. And now if I go between two obstacles, it should show one at the top. There we go. I'll increase the max size here in the best fit to something like 100 because it's still pretty small even at 40 because I set my reference resolution to pretty high. So you can see now it's pretty big. So next I'll try to add some movement illusion, and to do that I think I'll use clouds. So I'll drag in a cloud and make it a bit smaller, let's say 0.1 and 0.1. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then I will give it a rigid body 2D, gravity scale of 0. I will then drag it into my assets folder just like we did with the obstacle and delete it in my scene. Now in the game script I will add a cloud prefab. I will add a cloud timer, which is pretty much the same thing, so I'll just copy this and replace everything inside with cloud timer. And I'll do plus, let's say 3 for the clouds. And in here I'll rename this to cloud, instantiate the cloud. For the height I'll do, let's say, plus 5 to 7, so it's always going to be pretty much at the top, and actually I'll do 8 so it can go a little bit above. And I will destroy it after 10 seconds as well. But my cloud does not have a initial velocity, so I need to do cloud.getComponent rigid body 2D dot velocity equals to new vector 2. And then I'll use a random so it feels a little bit more natural, so random.range -3 to, or actually -5 to -3, and then for the y I'll use 0. So this should create clouds that go kind of randomly to the left. Don't forget to go on your game script and add the cloud prefab. So now this is creating some clouds that might be a little bit low and maybe a bit big too, because they're supposed to be kind of far off. And the clouds are in front of the lamp, which don't make sense, so I'll just go on my obstacle and set the two street lights order layer to 1. Since the clouds are 0, that's going to make sure they're always above. And I will also go on my cloud and reduce a little bit the size, like this probably. It's kind of hard to tell. Maybe I can drag in my scene to see. Yep, that's pretty good. So I think that looks pretty good actually. It makes it feel like you're moving forward. And they are also getting deleted once they reach the end. Actually, this one was pretty slow and it got deleted too soon. So I think I'll increase the timer a little bit. So let's say 20 seconds to be safe. Now let's create the def screen. So I'll go on my canvas, create a empty game object and call it def screen. On it I will add a UI panel. I will set it to dark and actually increase the alpha a little bit so it's darker and make it the size of the screen. Now on it I will add a text and say something like "you died." I'll make it bigger like this. Best fit, I'll increase the max size to make sure it's big and set the color to white. Now I will add a other text for the score, so I'll do score colon, or actually I don't need to do it in the editor because I'll do it in the script. I'll do best fit 2 and increase the max size to let's say 80. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now I'll make it the length of the screen and set it to middle. I will also set the color to yellow. Finally, I will add a button to replay. So button, I will make it a bit bigger like this, add it to the button, put it at the bottom. For the text on it I'll put replay and then put it to best fit and then max size 80. For the color I'll do white, and the reason for that is because I'll change the sprite of the image right here. Click on it, click on the little circle next to it and click on button, or you could also go on your sprites and drag in the button. Now in my game script I will add a text for the def score text and also a game object for the def screen. I will create a public void show def screen. And in here I'll do def screen dot set active true, def score text dot text equals to score colon plus score. And I will also create a public void click replay. So when we hit the replay button we want to reload the scene. To do this we just need to add using Unity Engine .scene management, and in the replay we want to do scene manager .load scene game in little quotation marks. Then we just have to go in the player and add here the game .show def screen. And let's not forget, if we set the timescale to 0 when we show the def screen, when we click replay or something else later we will add another option. We want to set the timescale back to 1. Now I'll go into my replay button, add the onClick event, then I will drag in the game and click on the function. So click replay right here. Then I'll go on my game object and drag in the def screen for the def screen and the score text for the def score text. Now if I run this you'll see that it shows "you died" right away, and that's because we didn't disable it by default. So to fix this by default I'll disable the def screen by clicking the little square next to it. So now if I go and I hit something, it will stop me and freeze the time, and now if I hit replay the time starts again and the scene starts again. So now let's say I go to 1 score and then I die 1. So that seems to be working fine. And if by default you want the text here to show 0, you can simply put 0 in it. So thanks for watching this part of the tutorial. Make sure to check out the other parts if they're out. Feel free to check out my other Unity tutorials as well, and subscribe if you want.